William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois. We're going to sleep.
And welcome to Madison Square Garden on the busiest week for us of the year. I thought, why not for our press conference just an hour before the weigh-in? And not long to go before Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz are on the scales for the Unified Heavyweight World Championship. Around 5,000 expected for the weigh-in later today, but we felt this was a great opportunity and great moment to announce our latest addition to the Matchroom Boxing Sky Sports The Zone team in former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Joseph Parker. At 27, we feel this young man has absolutely everything to give to the sport and the division. And what a time to be part of that division. I think underneath the champions right now, there are so many great fights to be made, and whilst we're not necessarily getting the top one or two fights that we all want and we need, there are so many opportunities to make so many great fights in the division. If you look at the heavyweights now aligned with Matchroom and DAZN and Sky Sports, and I'll probably forget one or two, but Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Alexander Usyk, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, Gassiev, Hunter, Takam, Chisora, Allen, Price, anyone else? Hrgovic. I mean, this is 12 or 13 of probably the top, certainly the top 20 in the division now aligned with us. So it's a great opportunity for these guys to meet. Joseph's first fight with us will be on June 29th. The opponent is not confirmed yet, despite some reports, but it is very close, and the opponent that was suggested is very likely to be announced in the next 24 hours. He'll be on the Providence card, headlined by Demetrius Andre, defending his WBO world title. And of course we thought we'd come here today because we know that Joseph Parker beat Andy Ruiz in a great fight in Auckland to become the world heavyweight champion, and didn't defeat Anthony Joshua for the unified heavyweight world champion. So he's definitely a keen spectator this weekend. It's great as well to welcome two people that are hugely influential in Joseph Parker's career. Of course, Kevin Barry, long-time trainer, excellent trainer, huge part of Joseph's success and his future as well. And my old mate David Higgins, who, quite honestly, this deal wouldn't have happened and wouldn't have been possible without. One, because he interferes too much, and two, because I wouldn't have wanted to do this deal without him. Because despite his flair, he is an excellent operator, now the official manager of Joseph Parker, and delighted to put this deal together with him. We've had some brilliant relationships over the years. Of course, the Joshua fight was a huge success for everybody, and although Joseph didn't get the win, it was a huge event. And of course, moving into the Dillian Whyte fight, which I think now probably came too soon for Joseph Parker after that defeat, but what a fight it was, what a 12th round it was that really could have gone either way. So delighted to be working as a team, and I think we have a great team now moving forward. We're very excited about the future for Joseph Parker, and that all begins on June the 29th in Providence. And I'm going to pass over now to David Higgins to say a few words.
Hey, thank you everyone, and look, I endorse everything Eddie said. I feel that as a team we now have the best of both worlds. My contract with Joseph Parker ended on March 26, and we had a great 6 years. We made New Zealand history. First ever New Zealand of someone descent to become heavyweight world champion, defended it. The Joshua fight, I think, was one of the biggest events in the world by revenue. And it says something for our trust in Eddie Hearn that those revenue share deals, they can get tricky, they can end in litigation. We did two massive revenue share deals, we never even had an argument. So as much as I like to mock Eddie, I mean, look at him. But I really like what he's doing for boxing, the vision for DAZN. I think his legacy began to revolutionise the sport. So for me, Joseph Parker now has the best of both worlds. He's with, to my mind, the best promoter. He'll go down as best promoter ever, in my opinion, once it's said and done. And second, he's got me making the deals for him. So I'm going to keep him honest. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Kevin, welcome. And we've obviously worked together for a number of fights together, and now working after 2 losses but great experiences for Joseph Parker as well. The best is very much yet to come.
Most definitely. At 27, Joe's still the youngest out of all the top heavyweights. Let me just first say that one of the overbearing reasons for us coming over the Matchroom was we believe Eddie Hearn is the hardest working boxing promoter in the world today. You know, we had a lot to do with Eddie in the lead up to the Joshua fight. We watched his professionalism and that of his company. We believe in his vision and his energy. And David and myself, especially Dave, we sat down with everyone over the last couple of months because, you know, this is the next phase of Joseph Parker's career. We've just gone into our 7th year as a professional, and it was very important for us that we were going to be with somebody who we want to stay with, and somebody who we believe would give us the opportunities, somebody who we believed had the vision to take Joseph Parker, to believe in what we see in Joseph Parker and take him back to the heavyweight title. Joseph at the moment is as focused as I've ever seen him, and I'll let him explain to you in a minute, but the thing that really amazes me, finally now at the age of 27, Joe is showing the maturity that I wish he had showed a lot earlier in his career. We started our training camp 4 weeks ago, and Joe came back into camp at 110 kilograms, which is Joe's fighting weight. Never ever in the 6+ years that I've worked with him has he come back to camp on fighting weight. You know, over the last 4 weeks, we've had a lot of discussions. Joe said to me on several occasions, "What the hell was I doing? Why wasn't I coming into camp in shape?" And I said, "Mate, simply you weren't ready. You weren't prepared to make that sacrifice, that dedication. You thought you could do it all in training camp," and he did. We had a tremendously successful run. You know, we fought 5 times a year for 3 years straight in the lead up to Joe becoming New Zealand's first world champion, the 4th youngest world champion of all time. And he did that through preparing himself in training camps. Now he is living the life of a professional, and hence coming back into camp in fighting weight makes me as his coach very, very excited. I think we've got some really big things going to happen very, very soon. We've had a slow start to the year. We're fighting, as Eddie said, on June 29. In fact, what Eddie doesn't realise is we probably want to fight 3 times this year. And Joe wants it. So we'll pass over to Joe.
Just before we go to Joe, I know this press conference is obviously solely about Joe, but I'm interested in this question because I'm interested to know your thoughts. The fight tomorrow, Joseph has fought both of these guys, beat Andy Ruiz in a decision, lost to Joshua on a decision. What do you think about this fight? I mean, I'm interested to get your opinion. You probably know as well as anybody how this fight might go on Saturday.
Well, obviously, you know, Joe fighting both guys, we've studied both guys in detail. And, you know, let's talk a wee bit about Andy Ruiz. Inactivity has probably been his biggest problem. If you go back to 2016, he fought 4 times in 2016, and we were his 4th fight that year. So it'd be fair to say he was in pretty good shape when he fought Joe for the title in New Zealand. And Andy's a very, very fast starter. He started fast in the fight against Joe and won the first 3 rounds on all judges' cards. You know, the next year he sat the whole year out after making some money and fighting Joe. Then he changed promoters. He had 2 fights in 18, and then, as we all know, he fought Dimitrenko recently. And the fact that that fight was only 6 weeks ago, I believe, will help Andy. You know, he's had weight issues. The last fight with Dimitrenko, he was 262. This fight, I think today he'll come in the low 50s. I think a lot of people are kidding themselves with the odds on this fight for Andy Ruiz. You know, I read somewhere 33 to 1, 25 to 1. Andy Ruiz is a very, very good fighter, and he has to be in the top 10 or 12 heavyweights in the world at the moment, no doubt about it. He's a skilled fighter. He's a fighter who was a very good amateur. He's had a tremendously successful career as a professional. Let's remember, he's not 6'2", he's 6 foot. But he's always fought taller guys. People say, oh, he's 6 inches shorter than Joshua, and Joshua's got 8 inches reach on him. And he's come up against that every single time, just about throughout his career. It's a guy that has very good hand speed for a heavyweight. He's got good head movement for the first 3 or 4 rounds. And, you know, we know he works very, very well to the body. If anything, a criticism, I believe, is the fact that, you know, he uses that jab to the body to close the distance on the taller guy, to try and get inside. And the fact that sometimes he reaches with that jab, which I see being a problem if he overreaches with Joshua. Now, talking about Joshua, I believe it's a guy that has definitely improved over the last couple of years. When people look at, and they talk about, you know, the fight against Dillian White, totally different guy. A fighter who has learned his trade, a fighter who is developing every time he gets into the ring, a fighter who probably controls the distance better than any other heavyweight in the world today. I know you probably don't want to hear from me anymore.
This is an amazing analysis. I was hoping you'd just say AJ was going to win. Go on, kick it.
No, look, I think it's a fight that Andy Ruiz is going to have to eat a bunch of leather to close the distance with Joshua. And I'm sure that Andy in his mind is prepared to eat leather. You know, he's done it before. We saw the fight, his most recent fight, Dimitrenko. Dimitrenko hit him with flush right hands. Now, if Joshua hits him with that same right hand, how many can he take? But you know, we know that he has heart. We know that he has no fear. We know that he's a very, very good boxer. And simply, Joshua's going to have to break him down, hurt him, and knock him out to beat him.
Thank you. Fascinating. Joseph, welcome. It really is great to have you on the team. I mean, it was a pleasure working with you and Dave and Kevin in the build-up to those fights. And now I'm really excited, especially at 27 years of age. I think you really have your entire future ahead of you in the sport.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Thank you all for being here today. It's great to be here in New York, not only to announce this new deal that we had, but also to witness a great heavyweight contest tomorrow and an exciting undercard. And like David mentioned before, my 6-year contract with Duco finished in March, and it was a very enjoyable and successful partnership that we had. And since the contract finished and since my last fight, I've been in New Zealand spending a lot of time with my young family and enjoying, you know, time off. And we sat down as a team and discussed our future and assessed the best way of moving forward and achieving the goal that I have of being champion of the world or being unified champion of the world. And ultimately we came up with, you know, the best promotional team and the best promoter to sign with was Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, because of the fighters that they had, but also all the shows that they put on in the US and in the UK, and the working relationship we had with them in the past. And saying that, David Higgins is a person who I trust and who has my back, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be able to do this deal, so he'll be heavily involved in my management team and in the future deals that I have. So I look forward to, and this is the beginning of, I think, a long and successful partnership. So thank you for having me on board.
Thank you guys. Joseph, your resume is up there with the very best of them. I mean, you've boxed and beaten Takam Ruiz, you've also boxed Joshua, you've boxed Dillian White as well. Not afraid of those big fights and those big opportunities. We saw you take the Dillian White fight at short notice, you believed you could win that fight, and you took that fight because you believed. Well, okay, steady though, steady. You very nearly did win it in the 12th round, I know that. But these fights that you see just below Wilder, Fury, Joshua, so many great fights out there that you're willing, after June 29, to just roll into, you know, talk about the likes of, you know, Povetkin and Usyk, and, you know, even certainly the Chisora fight, the White rematch, you know, all these fights, just massive fights out there for you, which when you became champion, they weren't really there.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, oh, you got Joshua, you'd have to unify against him. And you did, because you wanted to do it and you believed you could win. But right now, never been a better time to be a heavyweight.
I think this is the best time to be a heavyweight. And like you mentioned, as a team, we're not scared, and we don't shy away from challenges, or we don't shy away from fighting the best in the world. We know where we stand at the moment, and we're in a phase of we're rebuilding again. If we got the chance to mix it with the champions and the guys at the top, we'll take it in a heartbeat. But we know that we have to build ourselves back, and listen, we'll fight anyone. You put them in front of us, we'll be there on fight night, prepared and ready.
We look forward to some great nights ahead, but first, June 29, Dunkin' Donuts Centre, Providence, Rhode Island, on the undercard of Demetrius Andrade against Maciej Sulecki, the return of Joseph Parker. Thanks for coming out. We're going to have a photo up here now, and then all us four scallywags available to you lot for some more chat. Lovely. Thanks for coming. See you soon. Thank you.
William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois. We're going to sleep.